Hello, everybody, from Studio A in Texas. It's hour number 2 of the All Things Automotive Car Talk Show in real time. Just ahead, we continue our Mustang Mania show with the Mustang marketing guy, Jim Owens. In our new car showroom is the 2020 Ram 1500 Lone Star. We'll take you for a ride, and later our Ram Tracks feature, along with the stories making automotive news headlines this week. That and more just ahead on the In Wheel Time Car Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of This World, Mars, and King Conrad DeLong. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad that you could join us today. We really appreciate it. Is Jim ready to go yet?
We got a little audio problem.
Oh, we've got an audio problem. Okay. Well, at any rate, I did want to tell you another automotive news story while we're waiting for Jim Owens to get fixed up there so we can hear him. According to data released this week by the Small Business Administration, 12,693 new car dealerships collectively received between $6.97 billion and $10.36 billion in PPP loans. That figure represents about 76% of the 16,682 dealerships in the U.S., according to NADA's year-end 2019 count, and does not include those that took loans that were less than $150,000. Jared Allen, Vice President of Communications for the National Automobile Dealers Association, said, in fact, every dealer NADA has heard from who received a PPP loan has used it to keep employees on the payroll and or bring back furloughed or terminated employees, even though economic conditions would have otherwise forced those dealers to make drastic and permanent workforce reductions. So
yeah, a lot of the service departments stayed open during this because they were considered essential just to keep vehicles on the road. A lot of sales departments have taken a beating, as far as employees goes. And
it's been tough. And now here in Texas, for those that are listening outside the state, we're kind of in a crisis mode right now. We haven't gone back to level 1 that we were, but the governor has warned that if the COVID doesn't stop expanding and infecting more people, that we may go back to level 1 conditions where basically everything is shut down.
Right. Except for essential stuff.
Except for essential stuff. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that that doesn't happen.
Wash your hands. Wear a mask when you're in a crowded area. Do your social distancing thing. It's everything to keep you safe and everybody around you safe as well.
Yeah.
If you have a sniffle or a sneeze, stay home. Don't go to work. Don't share what you've got. We're kind of trying to burn a little time, waiting for Mike to get the video up and running.
Are we ready?
Almost.
Okay.
One of the other things in the news was that a federal judge has dismissed a case General Motors brought against Fiat Chrysler Automobiles with Sergio Marconi for conducting a bribery scheme with United Auto Workers when GM had the strike a year ago.
Sergio Marconi, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That GM alleged that Marchioni was working with the UAW to make sure they had a big strike on General Motors, thinking that there was a benefit to FCA on that, and the federal judge totally dismissed it and said horse hockey. I don't think he said horse hockey, but
I like horse hockey, and I hope that he said horse hockey.
The American equivalent of that.
Yeah. So this is our Mustang Mania show, and we're going to try to continue that because right now we have on the line with us Mr. Jim Owens, Ford Motor Company's marketing manager for the Mustang, the Shelby, and the new Mustang Mach 1. Howdy, Jim. It's good to see you. How have you been?
I'm doing great. It's good to hear and see you guys. Well, I know Texas is under a little bit of COVID watch, and I heard what you guys were saying, and for those of the people around the world and around the United States celebrating Mustang at car shows, they should listen to what you guys were saying.
Well, it's sure a pleasure to have you. I haven't seen you in years. I think it was the last trip to Detroit that you guys sent me up there, and I don't even remember what the car was, but it was something spectacular. But today we're going to focus on Mustang. And, Mustang, I think, really has been Mustang and Ford go together like peanut butter and jelly. How's that from Texas?
That sounds absolutely perfect. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Mustang and Ford are synonymous, kind of like the F-Series, right? When you think of Ford Motor Company, beyond the Ford family, and, you know, a lot of the things that Ford Motor Company has done over the years. You think of Mustang and you think of the F-Series.
Oh, and Texas is truck country as well. So we see lots of F-Series trucks out here on the road.
And you guys are still making and still in partnership with Shelby to make the Shelby. Now we got not only the 350, but we got the 500. And let's talk today, if you don't mind, about something that you guys just announced recently.
Your newest toy.
Yeah, the Mustang Mach 1 is coming back. So tell me about the Mach 1 and what makes it different from a regular Mustang.
Well, and you guys know me well enough. I mean, I've been doing Mustang since Gen 4, worked for Carroll Shelby directly from 07 through 11 before he passed away, came back to launch, you know, the 50 years Mustang, the Boss 302. But one of the vehicles that we have not done since Gen 4, 03, 04 is the Mach 1. And we're so excited to bring it back. I know your listeners, you know, are Mustang enthusiasts and fans and car fans. Mach 1 means a little bit different things to each person, right? Because if you think about it,
yes,
right, back in '69, when Mach 1 was coming out, you know, that first year we sold 77,000 units and only 6,000 of the Mustang GT. You know, Mach 1, basically the nameplate replaced the Mustang GT until, you know, almost the Fox body. And it means different things to different people. You know, the 03, 04, that shaker hood, you know, the 69 or my favorite, the 71 with that, you know, flat sports roof line. You know, I use a lot of user IDs as, you know, 19 Mach 1 71. But it means something different. And, you know, we thought with this generation, you know, coming back Gen 6 in 2015, that, you know, Tom Barnes and Nick Terzis and our engineering team had learned enough about the platform that it was time to bring the Mach 1 back.
Amen.
Well, yeah. So what explain to me the Mach 1 package, if you will.
Yeah, I will. And if we have time, if you don't mind, you know, back in the 60s, we wanted to recognize, you know, Jaeger breaking the sound barrier, right? And glamorous grimace, right? You know, and that era, you know, if you think about it, Ford was involved in aerospace at the time and, you know, helped put men on the moon. So what we did is we learned from our aero, and Mach 1 at the time was a combination of choices of aero, choices of powertrain, and choices of performance. And, you know, basically 50 plus years later, we're back at it again with this 2021 Mach 1. The first one, like some of the pictures that you guys have seen, is the Fighter Jet Gray appearance package.
Right, yes.
Love it.
And we launched it in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Mid-America Ford and Shelby meet back in June. But that Fighter Jet Gray is only available on that appearance package Mustang. We're not offering it anywhere else on the platform. And visually, it has the stripes with the orange on the side that draws the line with that big black Mach 1 between, you know, we've got those hood vents on the front, so, and the dome. So you have to fit it in there, and it makes you look straight down the line. So we do have appearance, just like we did in the 60s, but we also have powertrain choice. So what we end up doing is, you know, you can order it as a base with a handling package. You can order it with a base with an auto. You can order it with the upgraded, what we're going to call the 700A package, with the 10-speed auto on 480 horsepower and 425 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeehaw!
You know, I want that.
Yeah, and it's 4.5-inch pipes out the back.
Jeez.
So
wait a minute, isn't that the size of the 1-pound coffee can?
Exactly. So, I mean, if you think of the Mustang lineup, you had the Bullet in 20, and those had about 3.5-inch pipes. You had the GT350, right? Flat plane crank, 5.2 liter, just 8250 RPM tack, just a beautiful noise coming out of a 4-inch pipe. Then the GT500, I don't know if you guys have seen it, just monstrous 5.5-inch pipes. So the Mach 1 fits just a little bit in between there. So it makes music. You know, you have the B&O sound system as an option, but
I'd rather listen to the engine.
Exactly. But we're really excited about it because you can choose both personalization from the colors and the interiors and the exterior, just like you could in the 60s. Then you can also choose powertrain, and it will end up being, I can't say, we haven't certified, and I'd love to use the word that begins with F and ends with T, and talks about this, how quick things are. But I'm going to say it's the pinnacle of 5-liter production performance.
Yeah.
Both in a straight line and on a road course. People are going to be amazed with how this car.
So the only thing that you didn't mention is the availability of the radio and heater delete package, and we're waiting for that to happen too.
So I just got back from the Autobahn Country Club in Joliet this past week, and we did a Shelby GT500 track tour. So we invite owners and current owners, competitive make owners, dealers, local media to come out and drive the cars. And one of the things that we talked about, I had Gary Patterson from Shelby American with us as well. And, Gary would sit there and start saying, and, the 67 GT500 had creature comforts like AM radio, roll up windows. Yeah. So we don't have those deletes. We do have the rear seat delete in the handling package as an option. So just like the GT350R or the GT500 carbon fiber track package, you can get that rear seat delete if all you want to do is seriously track that car.
So you're going to go ahead and let me go ahead and take the heater and the radio out of it myself. It'll be a personal option.
Yeah, we tried that. I don't know if you remember the GT350R when we launched it in 2015. That base model had no AC and no radio. And, that goes back to the competition model that Carroll did. Remember, they called it competition model. It wasn't an R until later in the vernacular.
Right.
But that car had no AC, no radio, no wiring. We tried to do that with the GT350, and we actually had about 3% of the people actually order it that way.
Heck yeah.
A couple of them in Houston. Now, I will tell you.
Oh, my gosh.
In the racing suits,
brutal.
It gets a little warm in there.
Yeah, to say the least.
Heat.
Yeah. So when is the Mach 1 out now? Is it available now, or is it available?
So, it will be available as a 21 model year, and we're going to be doing it. We're saying spring of 2021.
Gotcha.
We're hedging our bets a little. We hope it'll be sooner. But it will be a 21 model year. With our plant and being safe in Michigan, we did shut down all of our assembly plants for about 68 days. And, we're catching up with the 20 model year, but we're really confident that it'll be spring, and we're hoping that it's earlier.
Well, I have to admit to you that I did talk to Ken Peabody, who handles your press fleet up in Dallas. I said, hey, Ken, what you got going? He says, well, I just got word that I could start delivering press vehicles again. I said, you got any Mustang? Well, don't have any Mustangs at the moment, but I'm hoping to be getting one. So I'm putting my word in with the factory right now that I sure would like to have one of those Mach 1s, Jim.
Come springtime.
Yeah. Exactly.
In the springtime, for sure. But what we've been doing with the cleaning, and you talked about it at the beginning of this hour when we were talking, like when we did the track tour this week, we used a CDC-approved chemical that went in, sat in there for 8 minutes, sprayed entirely through the car, cleaning 100%, well, 99.9% of every microbial, including like H1N1, COVID-19, all of them. Didn't put a person in the car until after it went through that. And then we used this thing called Sonobox for the helmets. And that's UV light. So everybody who put on a helmet and went into the car were going into one that was completely free.
Sanitized.
And they could feel comfortable in it.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Congratulations. It's great that you take care of the press as well as your consumers that you're bringing out to let them taste the future of Ford. Any idea the production numbers on the Mach 1?
So, I always like to say limited production, right? We've done number announcing on 3 vehicles since I've launched, right? Remember the old initial Cobra R?
Yeah.
We did it on the 1964 limited edition, right? We said we were going to build 1964 and a half, and we still have that $50. It sits in the design studio. We did say that we would do 3,000 of the base bosses and 750 of the Laguna Secas. And then in 15, we also said we would do 37 of the Rs and 50 of the track pack and 50 of the tech pack. The remainder of the vehicles we say limited. We have an idea of what we can produce. It will not be to consumer demand, so that when those customers buy it, they have the opportunity to know that they are part of an exclusive club that includes the chassis badge with their chassis number on it, just like Carol's old CSM number.
Which holds value for those consumers who do get one early in the show.
It's exactly right, right? You know, if you think about it, it's, you know, our hallmarks have always been exclusivity, value, and substance. That substance has always been performance. The value is the fact that we're going to be beating cars 2 and 3 times its price point. And then the exclusivity is part of that. Hey, you're part of the Mustang family, but we will limit the production to ensure that that vehicle is exclusive for you and now and in the future.
Jim, I don't know how you got your job, but you know that there's a line behind you that's probably including at least us, if nothing else.
The very minimum.
Yeah, but there's at least 1,000 other guys right behind us that want your job, and I know you realize that.
I am blessed,
yes.
Right? I mean, I'm absolutely blessed, and I know that. But as I told my kids, right, I have 3 daughters, 23, 20, and 18. I said, you have to find something that you absolutely love to do. And so I have found since 1999 a way to keep track time in my job description.
Oh, how cool. So do all 3 of your daughters drive Mustangs?
All 3 of them. Right now, I have an F-Series, an Escape, and 2 Mustangs. Okay. They all learned how to drive manual transmissions.
All right. Hey.
One in a Terlingua V6 when I was working for Carol.
Okay.
Right, the Paxton-based supercharged Terlingua V6. One in a Boss 302 and one in a Shelby GT 500.
Oh, how cool is that?
Yeah, why go to a Ford Escape to learn how to drive when you got that at hand?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Jim, it's great to talk to you. We certainly appreciate you taking the time out of your Saturday to talk to us. Tell all of our friends up there at Ford Motor Company in Dearborn that we said hello, and let's stay in touch and keep in touch with us and let us know what you got coming.
Absolutely. And as soon as we have that vehicle out there, I'll make sure that the Texas office brings you a set of the keys.
We appreciate it, Jim. God bless. Stay safe and stay healthy, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right, the Jim Owens.
GTG,
with
BRB,
Ford.
OMW,
We'll be right back.
be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
It's kind of a little yacht rock, eh? Don't you think it's rot yacht?
Well, I like the piano concerto there.
Rot yacht.
Rot yacht?
Something like that, yeah. Anyway, welcome back to the In Wheel Time program. We thank you. Be sure and stay in touch with us all week long by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and through InWheelTime.com. Each and every week, we invite you to join us for our live 2-hour show, 10 a.m. to noon Central. And we are thoroughly enjoying our hot Saturday morning here in Houston, Texas. Dumb me. I forgot to turn on the air conditioner out here in Studio A last night, and I usually try to make it a point to come out here. So at least it's got a 12-hour cool-down period. Guess what?
He fired it up this morning, and we're all sitting here sweating.
I forgot. I can't. Me? Forget anything? No. Time now for this hour's car review. Mr. Mars has a look at the Ram 1500 Lone Star.
Yes, sir, did. Now, this is a full-size pickup truck with a crew cab. So we're talking about a full-size vehicle. And that's really what a lot of people are buying now. The idea of buying a regular cab truck. They're still available, but most people are going to buy that as a work truck.
Hold on just a minute while I fix this.
Hold that thought. I'm going to fix this while you're fixing that.
Here we go.
All right, so again, the full-size pickup truck. This is the Lone Star Crew Cab. Now, it is the Lone Star. It's called the Bighorn Edition in other parts of the country, but this is Texas. So we've got the Lone Star State. We've got the Lone Star Edition of the Crew Cab 4x4. And the one that we had was flame red. This baby was red. Every place you look, red. Little chrome
I've
red.
been told that I was flaming before, but I can semi-relate.
But I think it was more of a beige or a pinkish type thing. But anyway.
And his red pumps.
And yeah, they would look good at this vehicle. So if you're looking at it, up front you're going to see that we had all the LED lighting packages, the reflector headlamps, the fog lamps, the tail lights are LED. We had the power folding side mirrors on the outside of it, the black tube side steps, which you needed on this vehicle because it does set up a little bit.
Somebody's been smoking.
We had the off-road package, so that included skid plates for the transfer case, the fuel case. And I thought it was interesting they even have a skid plate under the steering gear for this vehicle.
You've got to protect everything.
That. Yeah, I agree. I just thought it was rather interesting.
If you're going to invite people to drive the thing off-road, you got to protect everything.
You better be ready. And that's the reason it's got tow hooks to go along with that. We had the Ram Box cargo management system, which included all the tie-downs and stuff inside the bed, had the tri-fold tonneau cover, and it also had the tailgate, the multifunction tailgate that Ram has.
The Dutch doors.
Yes, the Dutch doors.
The double Dutch doors.
My wife, I laughed so hard at my wife trying to figure out how to open the tailgate. Anyway, it was worth a shot. So if you get into the interior of it, we had the front buckets up front, of course, with the center console, which is pretty much standard in the crew cab trucks these days. But we did have cloth material seats that were heated. And that was a little bit different with the power adjustable pedals. So there's this
so you can adjust the distance for the driver as opposed to moving the seat, you move the pedals.
Yes, but generally you find those kind of options packaged together with leather and an upper trim level on the interior. So I thought it was kind of a nice combination there. We had the 7.5-inch digital gauge panel, where they usually would find a digital pod. And then we also had the 8.4-inch Uconnect touchscreen, where you're going to find your Apple CarPlay, Android, all your AC, and all your other convenience controls that are all going to be right there. The other thing I found interesting on the interior of this one, Ram has been known for the under floorboard passenger space storage right behind the driver. Well, this one has two, one on both sides, and you can make these things lockable if you want them. And it also had a reclining rear seat, 60/40 fold-up seat, but it's got the storage underneath it as well. So there's a lot of storage options inside this vehicle.
Lots of places to lose stuff because
exactly, because there's so much stuff in there, and where you want to put this, and you got to have a map like a treasure hunt. Now, up under the hood, we had the 5.7-liter V8 with the e-torque system on it. So this baby's got plenty of low-end juice on it. 395 horsepower at 5,600 RPM if you wind it up a little bit. 410 pound-feet of torque at 3950. So you get into that mid-range, and you still got plenty of juice there with that 8-speed automatic transmission. Properly equipped, this vehicle is rated to tow 12,750 pounds with a haul rating of 2,300 in a half-ton truck. I mean, we're talking 1-ton capacity and a half-ton when it's properly equipped. The EPA says you should be looking for about 17 miles per gallon in the city, 22 on the highway, 19 combined. Now, for the week that I had it, I spent some time out on the highway. I did get 19 out of it for my overall week on that thing. And I thought that was pretty good.
And the e-torque is pretty unobtrusive. You really don't notice it, do you?
You don't notice it unless you really try and pay attention to it, because to me it shifts a little bit softer. There's some different points in it.
That's because you're getting the electric assist in the shift
because it just doesn't happen on its own in the transmission. The other thing that was really cool about this, it had a 392 gear in the rear end. So again, with that e-torque, lots of bottom end power. And with the air suspension on the ride out on the highway, it was nice and smooth. And you really had a driver feel of confidence when you're driving this vehicle, and you're ready to go, and you're ready to roll. So if you're looking for something to compete with this, you're looking probably at the F-150 that's going to start at around $35,000 in the crew cab package. The GMC, GM Twins, again, 1500 series in a crew cab, around $36,000 to get started. About the other one out there is the Toyota Tundra. Starts at $33,000, but a base Ram crew cab that that you're looking at with the V8 and equipped like this is $34,775. Now the base test vehicle that we had was $42,640, and the MSRP as tested was $62,575, which again sounds like a lot, but just like the other review we had earlier, by the time you option these vehicles up, and people get the kind of things they want and to make these daily drivers instead of just a pickup truck to haul hay. These are some nice vehicles.
All right, thank you, sir. It's the In Wheel Time Car Show is what you're tuned to on whatever platform you're watching us, whether it's YouTube, whether it is Facebook. We welcome all of our special Ford Mustang Mania folks that are tuning in today. And we'd like to remind you to be sure and join us live for each and every In Wheel Time show, Saturday, 10 a.m. to noon Central. And we thank you for riding along with us today. So one of our contributing editors here at the In Wheel Time Car Show is Mr. Jim Nelson. And coming up on Monday evening, Ford Motor Company is going to debut the all-new Ford Bronco. And how many decades has it been since they made the Bronco? Well, we're going to find out about all of that. So let's just join Mr. Jim Nelson right now, as a matter of fact. Jim, hey, it's great to talk to you, and thanks so much for joining us, Jim.
Good morning. Hey, you notice my backdrop, my green screen, if you're on Facebook and Zoom here, is a profile of the new, all new, really all new Bronco from the Ford folks. And that was 1996, by the way. Bronco was around from 66 to 96. And then it went away, sadly, to the serious angst of an awful lot of fans. And they've been waiting for several years to get themselves a new Bronco.
Well,
as a matter of fact, I'll start out talking about, I'm holding up here, guys, my $100 bill.
Yes.
You see it?
Yes, we see it.
On Monday night, you can reserve one for a refundable $100 deposit, and you can do it online at the reveal, which is 7 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. So get out your money. And Mike, my wife doesn't know I have this $100 hidden, so please don't tell her.
We won't tell her.
Yeah, she's not watching the show, right?
No, she's elsewhere.
Good. Well, well, we're glad to hear that. So it's Moneybags Nelson. And are you going to put your $100 down on Monday?
I think I'm going to. We're sitting here with 7 models that are being offered between 2-door and 4-door configurations. There will even be a Bronco Sport version, which I understand is more crossover based rather than truck on frame based. Ford's done a pretty good job of hiding the real details. The blogs have just been a fire with everybody's speculation about engines, transmissions, performance specs, and so on and so forth. So I think Monday night on what is an industry first reveal over the Disney Media Network channels, the whole world's going to find out. So media doesn't really have a first look at this. All of us have a first look at this, and so we encourage our listeners and our viewers here at In Wheel Time, tune in. You can find out.
And I will tell you, we're working with Ford. We may be able to put this on our Facebook and our YouTube page come Monday night.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. I kind of figured that we would. Jim, what we have seen are these teasers, kind of like what's behind you right now, but we've seen the front grille of it, and it is a retro-looking front grille, and thank God that they've kept that and not done what Chevrolet did with the Blazer, the current Blazer, and it looks like all the rest of them out there. This is going to have that retro kind of modernized version
it's a Bronco.
Of what we figure is the Bronco.
But it's also the modernized version of the Gen 1 Bronco, not the later version of the Bronco, which was based off an F-150.
Correct.
Really, they're really targeting that original Bronco passionate owner, and there's lots of people today that still have the passion for that generation Bronco because I see them in a lot of shops.
Well, I have to tell you this, that I saw a version of a Jay Leno garage show where it was a joke. One of the comedian friends of his played on him and left him this junker old first-gen Bronco in his parking spot at KNBC in L.A., where at the time that's where they were filming The Tonight Show. And he took that and completely redid it, restored it to brand new condition, and everybody and his mother would want to have it because he stuck a Coyote engine in it. But everything else, you could not tell that the engine was in it, but that thing would fly.
Hey, Jim, I was going to ask you, too. In the picture you've got there in the profile, looks like the doors are removed.
Doors are removable. They've got themselves a patented design for doing that. They've really covered all the bases on the first go-around here. There are approximately 3 different types of top you can get on this, all of them removable, some of them partial, some of them not. There are some screen tops, there are canvas tops, there are half tops. So they're coming out the door with all the whiz bangs. As a matter of fact, there are upwards of 200, if not more, accessory items already out there from Ford that you can add to this vehicle. And I spoke to some of those in the article I wrote, I think it was on Thursday, where I talked about accessorizing your new Bronco.
Well, that's pretty smart in that class. Everybody wants to accessorize it so they make it unique to themselves.
So you got removable doors, you got a spare tire on the back of it, you got a profile that's kind of boxy, you got 200 options from the factory. What does that remind you of, Jim?
It reminds me of the original Bronco, to be honest.
Well, I was thinking about the Jeep, the current Jeep status.
Jeep, the Jeep Wrangler. Yeah, that's all about the Jeep Wrangler.
Yeah, Wranglers pretty much owned that category niche for a long time. And this is the first straight-up Challenger. And
that's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. Jim, any ideas, any thoughts about what size engines they're going to offer in this?
There's going to be 2 initially, a 2.3 single turbo, which would be similar or probably the same engine as is in the Ranger. And then there will be a 2.7 liter EcoBoost, similar engine that they offer in the F-150. We don't have horsepower and torque numbers for those as yet, but I would expect they will be similar. There is also chatter out there, relatively confirmed, to expect a hybrid at some point, as well as possibly an EV, electric version. I wouldn't expect that for a year or two, but as they have been telling us, they're bringing a Bronco brand to market. So it's going to have everything, including the kitchen sink and even a Gladiator fighter sometime towards 2024.
So when you put your $100 down, are you going to be able to place your order with that $100 right then and there? And if so, are you going to get the 2-door or the 4-door? And what size engine are you going to get, Jim?
When they've been a little vague on placing that order on Monday night, although it's refundable. And they are going to ask you to tell them whether you want a Sport, which is the crossover version, or one of the regular Broncos. They're going to ask you whether your primary interest is 2-door or 4-door. There may be a couple of other things that they ask you, but those are not locked in positions. They will come back to you later and ask you if you're still on board, and if so, would you like to start trying to build the one that you've placed in order?
How exciting! I mean, this is exciting stuff. This is like going to the new car showroom back in October and looking at all of the new American models.
Waiting for them to pull the curtains open so you can see them.
Jim, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, and we're looking forward to your comments after we get to see it on Monday night on the internet. Okay?
Let's make sure we tell the listeners and our watchers here. Go to the In Wheel Time website. The article I posted yesterday on Friday tells you exactly where you can go to watch these reveals. They're on separate networks. And if you really want to see them all, you probably have to wait until they're done. And then you can go over to Ford.com or you can go over to Hulu and you can see them again and get additional information.
We love you, Jim. Thanks for talking to us. We'll see you soon.
Care,
all right.
Thanks.
Take care. Jim Nelson.
What teens just love.